What's up? My name is Anna and welcome to my channel, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different from what I normally do, and it is a palette bingo for one of the newer palettes in my collection. I got it this year for my birthday actually, and it is the E.L.F. Earth and Ocean palette. I'm just going to hold it upside down so that I minimize the amount of reflection coming at you, but as you can see, it's just a beautiful and unique color story that I haven't seen in a ton of palettes. Anyways, I wanted to do a palette bingo for this palette in particular because I got it for my birthday. It was on my wish list for like at least 6 months, and I wanted it for so long, and I still really love it, but I haven't used it that much, which is wild. I guess I've been super focused on the ones I've been panning, but some of them I haven't even used at all. I know I haven't used the silver because glitter could be a little bit of a pain to remove, and I haven't used Rock Bottom, this like taupey shade. It's really beautiful, but I just haven't reached for it, and I don't know if I've reached for Can't Help It, this deep green, and most of them I've just reached for once, maybe twice in total, with the exception of these two like periwinkle blues going on. I've definitely used them way more than once or twice, but overall I just wanted to get more use out of this palette, but I guess for some reason I just don't know where to start, so I thought if I randomize 5 shades maybe it'll kind of spark inspiration for further looks. Yeah, I just think this is a beautiful palette, and I kind of wanted to use this as an excuse to get more use out of it. Okay, so I have done my brows and I put on eyeshadow primer, so I'm ready for eyeshadow because I do that before and my face just because I don't want things to get messy. There's kind of 2 color stories going on, almost, so I could get some interesting combinations, but I will be using the random.org's true number generator on my iPad because I film with my phone. And I have 1 through 18. I guess we're gonna do 1 to 6, 7 to 12, and then 13 to 18. So I'm going to randomly generate 5 different numbers just because I feel like that's a interesting number. It seems like it's kind of a lot, but it'll make it more fun this way. So let's see. Okay, so my first one is 12. Then we got 6. 5, okay. 5 again. 2. Oh boy. This was taking a while. 18. So really spread out across the palette. So if we're going numerically in order, the first one is number 2, which is Underwater, which is a beautiful deep tealish metallic. Now next we have 5 and 6. Oh, those are actually the greens. My favorite color is green, if you don't know that already. And I bought this palette partially because I wanted more greens, and I just haven't used these a ton, which is a shame because they're gorgeous. So here are the swatches for 5 and 6. This one is Sahara, and this one is Spruced Up. So far we have a very green look, but we also have 12 and 18. I also got number 12, which is Sun Yourself, which is this pale, almost, it's a pale gold with like a slight greenish tint. And then number 18 is Mojave Mami, which is a, I'd say olive undertoned brown. So yeah, this is actually pretty cohesive. I'm surprised. I was afraid that I was gonna get like Gold Rush with Drip Drip and it's gonna be really intense and like, but no, it's actually, these are all shades I've used before. These are all actually some of my favorite shades, so I really lucked out there. Okay, so I think I know what I want to do, but please excuse my brushes. They're they're pretty much all dirty. I watched them like a week or two ago, but it's just, I don't have that many brushes and I use them like every day, so they're just gonna be dirty. I think I'm gonna start with the basic move and put Mojave Mami in the crease, but like higher and more diffused. I don't always use the typical like transition shades, such as just a brown in the crease, because sometimes for a colorful look, I don't think it's necessary and it actually just makes things more muddy, but for this look, I think it will help ground it, just because I want to do a very colorful lid, but I don't want to go super low with this brown. And since I have more inset eyes, I tend to make this part up here darker because I don't want to emphasize it, make it even lighter, because then it'll make my eyes go further back. But I also don't want to make it too dark. It's funny because I've gotten people asking me like, oh, could you do my makeup and stuff? And I'm always like, okay, you might think I'm good at makeup, but I'm good at makeup on myself. I've been stuck with this face my entire life, so I know what works for it. I've been experimenting for years, and I'm still relatively new to makeup. Like, I didn't start liking makeup until about 3-ish years ago. So it's just, I've only done makeup on someone else once, and it was a very interesting experience because she had a very different just face shape, eye shape to me. She had much bigger eyes. They were not inset or more hooded like mine are, so I was like, oh, So I'm going to take Spruced Up and put it lower in my crease and a bit more concentrated.
I feel like I should add some music here, but I'm not quite sure what to pick. So here I am singing a random song I made up, and will end very quick.
Okay, so I have currently a very dramatic blown out crease thing going on, but I'm thinking I want to put Underwater on the kind of outer V of my eye where my lid is. I want to do a gradient from Underwater to Sahara, and then Sun Yourself would be more in the inner corner. That's what I'm thinking. So it'll have a little bit of cool tone, but it'll be more warmed up when they blend together. I will use my brushes wet because I just always use wet brushes whenever I do shimmer. I find it just easier to work with. It's just less prone to fallout, and I find that the colors are more vibrant.
I'm singing this song because I do not know what else to put here.
So now that I have Underwater there, I want to put Sahara more in the center of my lid. I love just the theme of this palette. I just love nature, and I feel like more brands should really pull some inspiration from nature instead of just the same thing where they're always like, it's a mermaid palette, it's a weed palette. Like, guys, just look around you. There's so much inspiration. And this palette really did that. And oh my gosh, that's really pretty. Now lastly, I want to put a tiny bit of Sun Yourself on the inner part of the lid. I'll put it more in my inner corner, but I want to wait to do that after I do my base. I honestly have never thought about using Sahara and Underwater in the same look, and I don't know why, because they really just work together. Now I know we didn't roll in trenches, but I don't own eyeliner. I just use eyeshadow as eyeliner just because, I don't know, I prefer using a brush, and I don't want to use a gel pot because I don't think I'll use one up. So anyways, I'm just gonna add a bit of this liner because I feel like it's such a dramatic look that it needs a bit of eyeliner. Okay, so I changed my plans a little bit. Instead of using trenches, I actually just use Can't Kelp It because for some reason I wanted to make it a bit more earthy and grounded, so it's a little more subtle, but it does add a tiny bit of depth. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of like it. I didn't want something quite as intense as black today, so yeah. And I also used a makeup eraser to clean up the eyeshadow to make it a bit sharper because it did kind of get a bit messy. Before I do my inner corner and lower lash line, I'm going to finish my base, so. Okay, so now that I got primer, concealer, and bronzer on, I feel like this is a good place to continue. So I'm going to take a bit of spruced up on this tiny little, I want to call it a filbert brush, but I don't think that's what makeup people call it. If this were a paintbrush, it'd be a tiny filbert brush. Just want to put that out there. And then with this little fluffy thin brush, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of Mojave Mommy and blend the edges. You know, I'm going to make a weird face if it's on the lower lash line. So lastly, I just want to take a tiny bit of Sun Yourself and on this little round brush and, oh my goodness, dot it on my inner corner. I guess I kind of blend it up here as well as a bit under my lower lash line. I don't know how well it is translating on camera, but I do feel like Sun Yourself has a bit of a green undertone even though it is like a gold. So I feel like it works really well. Okay, so I have finished my face and my mascara, so now I just have to put on lip products. And a part of me wanted to do a really dark vampy lip because, you know, it's kind of like a dramatic look. But I also wanted to try something I haven't used before, and it is this E.L.F. Ride or Die Lip Balm in the shade Tough Cookie. I have not used it, and I figured I wanted something kind of a brownie, warm-toned. So I definitely had to use my finger to make an even application because it's just like a simple squeezy tube. But can I just say, the Tough Cookie is the perfect name because it smells like a sugar cookie, but specifically like ones you make at Christmas when you're very young and you like frost them yourselves. That's what it reminds me of, so that's really nice. That makes me happy. But anyways, I am really happy with the look I made. I can probably insert just better pictures up close, but this palette is just, this is making me fall in love even more. I can't believe I've been neglecting this. Like, I feel bad about it. I almost want to do this again, or maybe eventually do like a 5 looks, 1 palette or something like that, 10 looks. I don't know, I feel like this is a really diverse palette. You can make a lot of different looks, but yeah, I just want to get more use out of this cool tone side other than just these 2 shades that I use a ton. Siren's a beautiful shade, I just have only worn it once. So yeah, this is definitely making me excited to use this palette more, and I hope that inspired you to use similar colors if you have those in your collection. Even if you don't have this specific palette, like, while I would totally recommend it because it is definitely so good, especially for how much you pay for it. Like, each shadow is worth less than $1 if you do the math, so yeah. I just think E.L.F. is just doing great things these days, and I'm all here for it because I don't want to pay any more than I have to. If I can get this much quality out of a $14 palette, why would I bother with those $50 palettes? You know what I mean? Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have this palette or similar colors, and let me know if you have any ideas for eye looks you could do with this palette, and yeah, I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye!